So you guys probably have heard of the YouTuber Hamza. I've talked about him before on this channel. He's been blowing up for the last few years, probably even. But I really heard about him in the last year, in 2021, in June, I believe, when his channel really started taking off. And today I'm going to really be talking about the reasons why he's so successful and how we can, as aspiring YouTubers, kind of emulate him in a way. And this doesn't mean that we copy his ideas or anything. It doesn't even mean that we necessarily become self-improving YouTubers. But whatever YouTube videos we're making, we can use him as an example on how to be better. Basically, that's basically the point here. So, if you guys don't know what Hamza makes videos on, he basically makes videos on a wide variety of topics, including finance, self-help, reading, workout tips, and overall other things that will improve your life as a young man. He mainly focuses on men, but he also has some girl audience too. He does also talk about how guys can stop being weird around girls and like stuff like that. So he's basically the guru and the hub for all things self-improvement. Like all in the categories of your health, financial health, mental health, physical health. He's got that all covered. And this is probably the first reason that I'm going to talk about why he's so successful. Because he, unlike the other YouTubers that really focus on one thing, like, I don't want to call out names here, but a lot of other YouTubers really just focus on the one thing that they're good at. Like no fat, for example. Let's say this certain YouTuber is very good at, like, maintaining a long streak with no fat, but then he won't give any advice about finances. Or let's say like a regular like YouTuber focused in on like how to achieve financial freedom. They talk about the processes in which they do so, but they don't talk about the habits that back those processes and how they're able to maintain focus and stability within their own mind. But Hamza doesn't have any of these problems. He focuses he focuses on like everything simultaneously in such a perfect way. And the concept of like making two channels, Hamza and Hamza Unfiltered, is a very smart thing to do as well, because he's basically letting the normies and the people beginning that have low focus and retention rates and like they can't focus for long periods of time, he's giving them the dopamine boosting content that they want in his 2 to 5 minute videos on his main channel. But then on the Unfiltered channel, he goes into like his actual thoughts and opinions about complex subjects such as war, like financials, and like trauma as well, and all these other super complicated things that I actually take focus to understand and talk about. And that's one of the reasons why he's extremely successful. And again, I just want to reiterate, this is not me just sucking up to Hamza like randomly. I'm literally telling you guys that Hamza is such a good role model to follow. And that brings me to my next point, which is that Hamza genuinely is able to portray the feeling of him being over his problems. When he talks about his problems, he rarely gets emotional or like freaks out about them. He says them very calmly and he's open about them, which makes us think that, us the viewer, think that he already got through his problems and he's taken that time to reflect, and it makes us want to do it too and inspires us to do the same thing as him. So that's definitely a great thing to do if you're an aspiring YouTuber. Definitely try to kind of get over your own fears first, but also don't wait to make videos until you're through with your own problems. Never do that. But just keep them in mind and maybe even touch on them in videos, because when you talk about your problems, from what I've personally experienced, people are more likely to take you seriously. Now, I don't mean like go and randomly tell people your life story and like your main problems, but I'm gonna use a very simple example. Let's say someone is performing on stage, either a presentation or like a piece of music or whatever, right? If they say out loud that they're nervous or that they feel like scared to do this, it automatically makes everyone respect them that little bit more, and it takes the nervousness out of the equation. Instead of just trying to hide the fact that they're nervous and like just acting nervous, because imagine how much guts it takes to go up there and the first thing you say is like an act of vulnerability, you putting yourself out there, saying that you're nervous, right? What if someone says, "Oh, haha," like you should be, right? You're putting yourself in a vulnerable state. Now, obviously, no one's gonna say that, but even if they do, the fact that you said it means that you have guts, and that's kind of what Hamza does. He tells everyone, like, even the things that his parents have instructed him not to tell anyone, he tells them to hundreds of thousands of people. And obviously that might be an extreme step for you guys, but it's the extremism of Hamza that makes him so desirable and so fun to watch. And this is the last point that I'm going to touch on, but another insane way that he's able to amass the viewer base that he is by kind of maintaining a very interactive relationship with his fans. Like, he has a Discord and he actually like promotes some of his fans' videos. He tells them to make videos criticizing and like bashing him. I'm not doing that today, but maybe I will at one point. He's basically like giving everyone free publicity in a way, because he genuinely wants people to succeed and he wants you to feel like you can do what he does without too many barriers of entry. And going back to the other point about being very open about trauma, he's also very open about what he does on a daily basis and how much money he makes. Now, this is definitely going to be a controversial one, don't get me wrong, but I think in him telling the viewer how much money he makes, it's actually a power move, because they're very inclined to trust his advice, knowing like the success he's had and like feeling that inspiration of, oh, I can make that amount of money too. That's just a great feeling to have as like a young person trying to start a very daunting task potentially. I mean, making videos can be very scary if you don't have the proper mindset going in, and if you've never done it before, just like anything else, you know, it's a new thing for a lot of us. And he like straight up, he likes to say that he autistically goes through a step-by-step process of like what he does, and like makes it so anyone can do it if they're willing to put in the time. He talks about things like Skillshare. He talks about like making courses and like basically all his avenues of income. He shows them to the world, and that's honestly a very, very powerful move, because it shows that he's not afraid of people doing what he does and dethroning him, because he knows in his mind that no matter what, he'll be able to continue this pace because he has a very high discipline. And he knows that just by helping others doesn't mean there'll be less pie for him. So that's basically why Hamza was able to amass the support that he was, and why he is the king of self-improvement. And that's pretty much it for today's video. Thank you for watching and take care.